afternoon, guys. Hope you all keeping well. Hope all you guys are studying. Hopefully, also reading through your standard system. I'd like to just impress on your minds that if you read your standard system, a lot of things become a bit easier for you to understand. Coupled with the fact that you've got data, you can also go to the internet to view how the works are executed. Um, there is one key um, in in doing QS and quantity surveying is that um, before you really know how to measure an item, you should actually try and find out how it is actually built. Um, the standard system is your overall guide on how we measure it, but you also need to know how it is built. What's the steps that are followed when constructing a follow item of work? Now, I'd like to speak about paint work. In your standard system, it will be on 102, page 102. Just for reference sake, this is the standard system, the 7th edition from Association of South African Quantity Surveyors. Okay, let's just skip to page 102 because I've been getting like a question on how paint is measured, and I think a lot of you guys maybe didn't really go and read the standard system, what it says. Okay, so here is what we are being told by the standard system. You've got classification, you've got color, you've got paint. So these are really important information for you when you need to do measurement and your descriptions. So this is what it says: classification according to specifications of the paint, preparatory work, materials to be painted such as plaster, concrete, brick, wood, etc. That information you need it because there's something that we call trade preambles that we insert in your bill of quantities. Otherwise, I'm not really worried about that, but this information, you need to know it, but that's not what I'm trying to show you guys. Here, you come to this clause number 3, paint work general. You are told here that the unit of measurement, which is this column, is square meters. And it says, no deductions shall be made for openings, ones, etc., not exceeding 0.5 square meters. And your description shall be deemed to include cutting in of edges. Okay? And then you go to clause 2, paint work on profile surfaces, also in square meters, may be measured over the flat area, stating that work has been measured on flat. So these are rules that are trying to teach you that when you are drawing up your description of paint work, what you should consider in your description, what you should write, the wording. That's where they are trying to guide you. If you go to the clause on this page, it says paint on gates, grills, burglar gates, balustrades, etc. shall be measured also in square meters. Shall be measured over the full flat area of both sides. 10 says alternative paintwork may be given in detail in accordance with principle laid down for paintwork not exceeding 300 millimeter girth and not adjoining similar paintwork. And then go to clause 4. Paintwork not exceeding 300 millimeter girth and not adjoining similar paintwork shall be given in meters. What they're trying to tell you is that if for instance, let's go to an example like this here is this is your reveal. This does not exceed 300 millimeters. if you guys don't have a picture of 300 millimeters, it's your standard ruler, okay? But the girth of this does not. So we measure this in meters. You see, you can measure that in meters. Even your soffit does not exceed. So that's where the application of that rule comes in. Otherwise, you measure it in square meters as a surface area. That's why I'm trying to show you my wall here. Even the ceiling is a surface area, but they tell you you need to specify what type of surface you are painting. Okay, guys? So now we've got to that understanding. And like I think for roadworks, painting lines, you'd measure it in meters, because the width of your brush or your roller brush, it would be more or less as per the width of what the thickness of your lines. Okay, that's what you would purchase at the store. Okay, now guys, if you read the standard system, it guides you that we measure paint in square meters. Okay, now we order paint comes in liters. Okay, so you need, as a student of quantity surveying, you need to have these manufacturers brochures, because it gives you a lot of information about the types of paint and their application and the manufacturer's instruction. I'd like to just bring to your attention, there's something that we call a spread rate. A spread rate or coverage. What do we mean about that? About that, we mean that if you follow all instructions that you are given by the manufacturer when you're painting, if you follow those instructions, a certain amount of liters should cover a certain amount of square meters. Okay, so a certain amount of liters prescribed by the supplier, by the manufacturer, should cover a certain amount of square meters on your surface. Okay, so I'm just looking for a spread rate here so that I can give you much more info. But what I could advise is that you can even go to Google and just whichever paint that you are, maybe that is prescribed, you can just go on there and Google the spread rate of that. You will get it on Google, definitely. You'll get it. Also, some suppliers, like Builders Warehouse, they give you information of your paint and they give you what we call a spread rate. Since I'm not finding this spread rate here, I think I'll just give you an idea. Okay, the spread rate goes something like this. At the back of your information on your paint, at the back of your paint, there's usually information that tells you that it's either written coverage or spread rate. What they say there, they say 1 liter covers 8 or 7 square meters. Okay, what they mean about that, they say if you take a liter of our paint and use it as per instruction, it will cover only this amount of square meters. It will cover 8 or 7 square meters, depending on what is written there. Let's maybe take, for example, paint like, let's say, Micatex. Maybe they say to you, it covers 7 square meters a liter. Okay. Now, in your description, in your BOQ, most likely you will get a description that says 2 coats Plascon Micatex. It will seldom say 1, unless maybe it's really specified that way. When they say 2 coats, okay, they say you must first paint the wall with the first coat, let it dry, follow the instructions of the manufacturer, and then paint the second coat, which will be deemed your final coat. Okay. Now, the spread rate at the information bar on your tin of paint helps you to calculate how many liters based on how many liters a liter covers. Okay, so now for example, let's say you've got 100 square meters of walling and you need to paint that 100 square meters of walling. Okay, and you know that your Micatex covers 12 square meters. Okay, no, not 12, let's say 7 square meters. Okay, what you need to do, you need to say how many liters cover 1 square. Okay, how do you go about doing that? You say 1 liter divided by the cover. If your cover is saying it's 7 square meters a liter, you're going to say 1 liter divided by 7. That is going to give you a unit ratio that says so many 0.0 whatever liters will cover a square meter. And then you need to multiply that by your total surface area that you need to paint. And now, since they say put in 2 coats, you have to say times 2. So let's say for interest sake, we said, let me just get a calculator. Let's say for interest sake, you said, 1 liter divided by 8 squares, and you got maybe, let's say 0.1 liters per square. What you would be required to do is to say 0.1 times 100 square meters. That's the surface area that you need to paint. Okay. Now, since there are 2 coats, the liters that you get when you say 0.1 liters per square times 100 square meters, you need to say to that answer times 2, because that's the amount of paint that you will need to purchase. Okay. Now, let's say in the case whereby you are putting maybe, let's say, an undercoat, and maybe they said only put in 1 coat undercoat. Okay, you would still go back to the information on your tin that says the spread rate is saying 1 liter is equal to 12 square meters. Okay, and you still do the same transaction and say 1 liter divided by 12 square meters, which is your cover of 1 liter. That gives you 0.0 whatever. Okay, you'd still take that answer and multiply it with the 100 square meters that you need to paint on your wall. Okay, now I don't want to really get into the pricing aspect of it. I think I will do that only on request. But I just want you guys to understand that in the concept of trying to obtain how many liters you need to order to cover a certain amount of walling, you need to go and consult your information on your tin of paint. That will give you the coverage as prescribed by manufacturer. Okay, and I've seen a lot of sites that people compromise the quality of the paint by adding water and doing that just to cut costs. Don't do that, because let's say like a company like Plascon gives guarantees. Once you do that, you are actually interfering with the quality, with the design specification of the manufacturer, which will lose you the guarantee. And in public sector, if you do like hospitals, prisons, schools, and whatever, they want a guarantee. Once you start fiddling with the paint and adding other stuff, you will lose guarantees. Okay, guys, they've got a way of testing that. Okay, so just familiarize yourself with the information there, and just understand that when they say spread rate or coverage, it means a liter of paint can be able to paint a certain amount of square meters, and then it's finished. You cannot expand it more. If they say it covers 8 square meters, you cannot paint more than 8 square meters with 1 liter of that certain paint, unless you are tainting it with water and putting other stuff, which will be poor quality management on your behalf. Okay, I just thought, let me put this video out. Please just give a comment if you'd like us to go into the cost side of it. But I don't want to go into that, because you guys have not reached that level yet. So, but I just felt I should make this video for you guys. Okay. Anyway, keep well. Um, Google all the building products, guys, that you are seeing on your drawings so that you are familiar with it. When you go to hardwares, take catalogs so that you are able to do some reading just to make yourself familiar with certain products. Okay, okay, guys, keep well.